Hello, everyone. This is our video in the series that's going to highlight how hostile forces work. Ben has selected a few forces here to kind of highlight what makes them different than tactical. Ben, what's new about these forces?
Well, as you can see, I grabbed a similar set of units as I did for the player soldier, the allied force, because they use a similar set of units. We have mechanized, artillery, armor, and infantry. So let's start over here with the mechanized. So one thing you'll see that's new with the hostiles is they have a dedicated action stack right here. And that's because they can have 2 or even 3 actions at a time, just like your allied units. They will. So when they activate after one of your guys activate, they will either move and try and get closer to you and attack, or they might just attack you twice. They also have a
Okay.
supply value where they can activate their specialty abilities, and they will constantly be fed a stream of supplies through the mission card, so they can keep using their things. And yeah, it creates for a really dynamic force of them making interesting decisions, trying to like chase you down, or blocking off your attacks. They also, when they're wounded in this lower stat block, they have this opportunity to retreat and regain 1. So they will move 1 location towards the objective and heal back up to full. So it incentivizes a more aggressive play style of you should really be chasing these battalions down and cutting them off so they can't be refitted.
I like that because when the mechanized battalion here is at full strength, it's trying to hit you. And even if it misses, if it has suffered a pin, it will remove one of its pins. But then once you damage the thing, like you said, it's going to run away a location and regain that health. And so that way it kind of builds like a little bit of AI into the card.
Mm-hmm. And for those who have seen the Allied video, the attack chart should look pretty familiar. It has the pen column and the different health. We tried to make things as similar as possible, so that way the rules and understanding should be as easy as possible.
And on the above the action there on the attack chart, it can fire at range 0 and 1, and then also it has a note there for infantry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's its target priority. So if an infantry is in range, it will target that first. And that really shakes up combat as you'll have 4 different units in front of you, and all of them will be looking at different units. You don't have to draw for targeting counters. If you have multiple infantry in the area, you get to pick which one the mechanized battalion targets.
And if you don't have any infantry, then it just attacks whichever unit you want it to attack, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, it makes you think a lot more about who you're putting up in front to take those hits. And yeah, it gives you more freedom in general.
Okay. And then here the mechanized battalion, like friendly unit, starts off with a supply, and it has the defense ability just like friendly units, so that if you do land a hit on it and it has a supply, on a die roll of 7 or higher, it will shrug off that hit.
Yep, which means taking out especially infantry have more supplies with that ability, and some even have better defense numbers. You'll have to either wear them down with weaker attacks, or there's some gear that can take away the hostile supply and take away their special abilities.
Okay.
Okay, on
And
to yeah.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Thinking of going on to the next card, the artillery. Anything else you wanted to add to the mechanized battalion?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, and it's a first kind of unit, so it would be acting during the first third of the turn, like your first units.
Yep. The artillery is also first. We wanted to make first and last appear frequently in the game. So I'd say it's about a third each. Of a third are first, a third are last, and a third are regular. But for this artillery, they are pretty a scary unit, 5 XP. They have a whole 2 actions to rain down artillery shells upon you, mostly inflicting a lot of pins and hits. And the real annoying thing about artillery is that it's out of range. It starts 2 in front of you and can fire 2 away, and not many of your things can fire 2 away unless you also have artillery to counter them. They're also very scary because even if they're targeting a tank with 4 penetration, they have good chances of blowing right through you.
Okay, and it looks like on their attack
Mhm.
chart there, they're going to first target armor that has the fewest number of pins on them. So they're good at penetrating armor. They're going to target your armor, and they're going to go
Mhm.
after your most offensive armor with the fewest pins.
Yeah. So really frustrating when you have a really like high quality armor unit, and this unit will be putting pins on that, meaning that other units will have an easier chance of hitting that armor, and it'll distribute so all of your armor will be slightly battered by the end of the turn. One other
Okay.
special thing about this artillery is it's a Wagner artillery. So this artillery is under the specific commander control of Wagner, and that means that this artillery is like more important than others. So we added this special note at the bottom here of when this artillery is killed, your troops are extra motivated and like more moralized. They gain +1 action on this unit being defeated and discarded.
Okay, so because Wagner's here, what we did from a mechanical point of view was we gave the artillery here extra bonuses. They hit better, that kind of thing, extra penetration. So they are superior to a normal armored unit. But when you destroy them, then whichever one of your units destroyed them immediately gets a bonus action. And that kind of brings things back into balance. We're just not making the player's life more miserable.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, even though this is a very scary artillery unit, there are some upsides to drawing it. On to the armor battalion. This armor is a pretty scary type of hostile in the game. They tend to have high XP of 3s to 7s even, and very high covers. I think starting at 7 cover. Luckily, this armor is more focused on defense than offense, only having 1 natural action, but if it's supplied, it will gain a 2nd action each turn. So it has the chance of being very deadly. And yeah, it's got attack stats to back it up, of hitting on 4s and double hitting on 10s. Potentially very devastating to your squad, especially with it targeting your armor. Your armor might have only 2 health, so if this rolls well, then you could be in some real trouble, and you might consider using the redirect ability, just in case.
Right. Right, because it's targeting your armor that has the lowest RP value, and those armors do tend to be a little light on health.
hmm Um, but yeah, a pretty standard unit firing out to range 1. A spooky one to look out for. Okay, on to the heavy armor brigade. This one is just a more a 7 XP example of armor. This is like the top end of what armor could be. And as you can see, a whole bunch of stats are increased of up to 9 cover. It's got some defense, so it might stick around for even longer. And it has double hits on 7s. And even when you wound it, it can still hit you for 2 wounds.
Yeah, that is massively offensive. Oh, it is worth 7 XP, which brings to mind how it does not have the overkill stat.
Yes. Veteran warfighter players will remember the keyword overkill from our other entries in the series. And we decided to go in a different direction for war, of having a different drawing process. So instead of having, so say you have to draw 6 XP of hostiles, and you're at 5, and you draw 3 XP, bringing you up to 8. Instead, in war, you would just keep drawing from the hostile deck until it is the hostile value. So you would keep drawing until you draw a 1 XP hostile, and then you'll have exactly 6 XP of hostiles to fight.
Okay, yeah, I like that because this is more strategic. We wanted to make sure that the challenges were exactly what's called for on the location cards, because in a tactical system, because you're dealing with such a zoomed in level, things do get more chaotic, but here at a strategic level, they're more predictable.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense for the squad level, for like an extra group of guys that you didn't expect to appear on the enemy side. But when you're dealing with whole battalions, brigades, there's like scouts, and you kind of know what's coming at you.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and so that covers armor, artillery, and mechanized. Finally, we have our infantry here. So similar to the other units, they have supplies and their standard attack chart. And just like you, infantry focus a little bit more on defense and having a lot more health, and more to slow you down and to kind of draw your fire away a little bit from the other units. And if you ignore them, their pins can start adding up quick.
Okay. And this particular unit has 3 actions when it's healthy, and it has the orange pre-supply, which means that before they conduct an attack, if they do have a supply on hand, they get to roll an extra attack die and then use whichever die comes out higher.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a really handy ability for them, because 2 chances on a 6+ at 3 times, like they will, they can quickly wear down your units with successful attack after successful one. Also, we have a new kind of unit called support attachment hostiles. This hostile, as you can see, is very different. Doesn't have cover, no health, and no attack stats. This entire card's job is to support another card. So as you can see, this one attaches to a low cover hostile. So this infantry is a perfect candidate with 2 cover. And they gain a variety of bonuses. They get another health, and they get another defensive ability activated by this infantry's supply.
Okay, so if you were to inflict a hit on the veteran regiment, and both the veteran regiment and the infantry force had supplies, you'd first roll for the veteran regiment or the support, whichever one you choose. They would get a chance to stop your hit on their die roll. If that failed, then the other's defense would kick in. They'd get a whole second die roll, and hopefully that fails and you actually inflict a hit. But even if, let's say, that second defense die roll succeeded, yes, it is bad that your attack failed, but it did burn off a supply from each of those units, and they're very limited in how often they can do that.
Yeah. So if you keep hitting and targeting one unit, eventually they will be weared down enough where you can, actually start wearing away at their health. And I think that covers it for infantry. Yeah, that's basically all of the new things for them. And yeah, covered a whole bunch of new concepts for all the hostiles, from them having multiple actions to them also getting supplies and specialty abilities. Yeah, lots we went over.
Okay, well, thank you very much for talking us through this, Ben. We're
Yeah.
going to wrap up this one and proceed on to the next video. Thank you all for watching.